Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for watching my blog and getting to know a little bit about me. My name is Holly Saporito. I've been a teacher since 2009, and before that, I did a year of substituting, and I've taught both in brick and mortar and in the virtual education system. Um, so I did virtual from 2013 to 2017, and I even had worked up to mid-level administration. And so while we're all going through our coronavirus pandemic and we're switching to distance learning for most school districts, I wanted to kind of give my best tips and tricks for that transition of being in person with students to going to the virtual world. And so this is just a quick overview of what some of my, hard lessons were to help make it a little bit easier on you. So I kind of put a PowerPoint together because I'm both a visual and a kinesthetic learner. And so sometimes I'll just do a vlog where I'm talking, and sometimes I'm actually going to show y'all some actual presentations. So for setting an online learning environment, you have to be organized. This comes second nature to me. I am dyslexic. I have had to organize since the time I was very little in the classroom. And for our students, we're going to have to show them how to organize themselves. In the classroom, we kind of set up the parameters, whether we're drill sergeants or consultants, and it's kind of organized there, and then it's theirs to maintain. So one thing I do is I have a spiral. I have something where I actually physically write things down. I have a printed lesson scope. This is something that I kind of took a whole bunch of hodgepodge lessons and made this printed lesson scope. And I'll go to mine for this year. And so you can kind of see, instead of a Word document where all your lesson stuff is written on each page of a Word document, I put an Excel together where you just kind of go sideways and it links everything. I have this digitally, but I also print it out so I can make notes. I can write on it and say, oh, I did this, or I still need to do this, or things like that. I personally still like it printed. If you're good digitally, keep whatever lesson you have digital. Okay. I gave up on printing every PowerPoint. There's not enough trees for all that. There's not enough ink. And I can have it there on my computer to edit. And really, me making notes on my printed PowerPoint doesn't do the students any good. So if I just make notes and edit it right then for the students, then it's all updated at one time. Gradebook. When I work virtually, I don't necessarily print my gradebook. I do save a copy of it, that way with students withdrawal or anything like that, you have a record of their grade. But I don't print a copy every day. With distance learning, whether you're using a platform similar to Google Classroom or some other platform where they turn things in on there, you're going to have an actual copy of their work, whether it be a picture or a form or something that they filled out. So you don't necessarily have to have that printed, well, I gave them this, because we can save it digitally. So whatever works best for you. This can be very similar to what you did in the classroom. You're just moving it to at home. Okay, and some of us don't have printers at home, or we don't want to mass print things on our home computer. So whatever you want to do for your organization, this is unique to you. If you are not a writer, but you like to type it on your phone, right? Have things like that. Maybe you like to use OneNote or a variety of things. I've used so many. So my thing is, make it work for you. Try different things. I love OneNote personally. I found it easy to save emails or screenshots and things like that when I was a virtual teacher. For being just on distance learning, I don't know that I'm going to use OneNote. So make sure you're getting what you need to be your best you. And talk to your students about how they can be organized. a lot of them don't know. A lot of it is not practiced, and a lot of it is been streamlined in our schools since kindergarten. This is what you're going to do. That sometimes it doesn't dawn on them that, oh, I could write this down in a spiral. Or maybe they don't have spirals or paper at home or a means to get them, but they have their school device. So show them how they can take notes on Google Docs, OneNote, things like that. Maybe they can save your PowerPoint and do a HyperDoc. So however works for them, and go over that. And I'm going to post a video about student organization as well. Okay. Step 2, create a work station, wherever that is for you. Okay. One of my big things when I first became a virtual teacher is I would just grab my laptop and I would sit on the couch, or I would sit here and I would change it every day. And one, I kept going up to wherever I was yesterday and picking up my paper, picking up this, like I was always moving around and wasting time. 2, I got to where some days I wouldn't focus as well, or some days, I'd get distracted by the TV or things like that. If you have kids at home, or, spouses, or whoever it is, your dog's distracting you, whatever, if you create a single workstation, okay, they kind of know, oh, when they're there, that's their work time. And, I only need to bother them with emergencies. Okay, things like that. Make sure that you're comfortable. Make sure that, you're not going to be distracted with the dirty dishes or the laundry or whatever. So set those parameters. Also set it to where you can close that computer or close those devices and leave it there, right? Leave work at work. Working from home, the boundaries can get entangled because you're like, oh, well, I can just do this. Or, oh, I could just, stand up and watch that one show, and that one show turns into 3. So make sure you can still leave work at work. Timers and calendars. This is invaluable, okay? I'm one of those people, I will sit down and I will work, and next thing I know, it's been 5 hours and I haven't had anything to eat or drink. So set timers and calendars. Set boundaries for you, both work and home life, but also so you don't get bogged down with one assignment or another. If you set timers in your phone, that works great. One thing I personally like to do is I use my Outlook calendar. It's already there with my email and all of that. So I use it. It's second nature. And so here's an example. This is next week for me. So you can kind of see this is my one lesson. So green, I know, is lifetime nutrition. Orange, I know, is human growth and development. And I just kind of put those there so I know what lesson I'm doing at a glance. Don't feel the need to do this. I know that every day when I get up, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on nutrition materials, whether that's prepping their assignment, prepping their recording, grading, all of that is going to happen right here. Then I'm going to switch to human growth and development, and I'm going to do all of that prep work. Okay, and then are going to be my office hours where I'm calling students, I'm, getting on Google Hangouts, different things with them to help them, or I'm just available for when they need to reach out to me. Then it's lunch. Stand up and eat. Now, a lot of you are like, well, that's a long time without standing up and eating. I have each of these marked for 90 minutes. That was what our school was on. We were on 90-minute periods. Really, I'm probably going to work like an hour, take a 15-minute break, come back, an hour, 15-minute break, and then do my office hours. So these times are not set in stone. Work for what you need. I'm just kind of trying to plan it out, and that was already what was on my calendar. The afternoon, see how it's wide open? That's going to be for emails. That's going to be for the meetings that come up. That's going to be for when my boss might schedule an 8 a.m. meeting because they want to get something out that morning. So I can drag and drop that lower, right? So that's going to be, I'd like to keep the afternoons open just for the catch-all. That might not be you. right? It might be that while you're at home, your kids nap between 10 and 12, and you got to make the most bang for your buck there because that's when you have quiet time. So that's going to be up to you. And then set an alert for whatever your end of day is to put up the computer. It's time to finish what you're doing, close down, and then actually get family time, okay, or personal time, or whatever it might be. My school district is personally going to work, I think, 7 to 3, if I remember the email correctly. So I've kind of put my work day in that. So make this work for you. I have once a week updating Skyward. Honestly, I do this more than one day a week, and I'm probably during distance learning going to make a point to do it at least 3 times a week so students can help keep track because they're not used to that. Self-paced yet. However, that's just how I did it in brick and mortar. I updated gradebook once a week, right? So Skyward is what we call our gradebook. And so some of us have different formats, but I'll actually make sure to go into Skyward and make sure everything is fine and dandy and ready for both the students and the parents. Okay, so that's keep your time, keep schedules. Okay, I also have this app on my phone that I actually just got. It's called Drink Water. I got it on the App Store. It was free with, it has the ads and stuff. But every 2 hours, well, I think I have mine set to 45 minutes. It reminds me, it does a little water droplet noise to drink water because, again, when we get busy, when we get tuned in, we forget to do things like that. Okay, so that's my third tip. Oops. Sorry, guys. Make sure that with your routine, you're still setting things like taking a shower every morning or every night. Keep all of that up, going on walks, doing different things like that. Keep your personal routines up as well. That will help with your work-life balance. That will help with your kind of our sanity as we're in the classrooms and transitioning to only being in our home. And then non-work and school activities. When the day is done, the day is done. Or when you're on your break, you're on your break, right? Unless it's an emergency, but otherwise you're there. So plan activities or have activities ready to do with your spouse, with your family, with your dogs, with whatever. Plan those. Plan we're going to go on a walk, or plan, tonight's board game night or tonight's Jenga or a puzzle. Like plan specific activities so that while we are in our distance learning environment, we still have that release of energy. That could be doing 10 jumping jacks and then going to push-ups and then running in place, right? If you can't go outside or things like that. Whatever it is, it could be 30 minutes of family TV time. Whatever is y'all's decompress time. I will say, because we're going to distance learning, your screen time is substantially increasing for both you and children. So try to think of non-screen time activities that you can incorporate with your family. Those are going to be really important for our morale. Okay? And then, of course, reach out to me with any questions, or if you want specific videos, or if you're like, hey, do you have a resource on this or that? I probably do because I've done it before. It's not, this is kind of reverting back to old habits for me. And so a lot of times I'm not going to think of, oh, people should know this, or, oh, this was really helpful. But reach out to me. I'm here to help. I want to help in this time. I know this is a new situation for most people, and especially students and families that don't know where to go or where to turn. And teachers, we have all these great plans and we've planned all these great lessons for in the classroom. And how do we convert those to our digital world? So again, reach out anytime. And my name is Holly Separito.